Welcome to the Golden State Media Concepts, America's Still Beautiful podcast, a weekly news podcast covering all the top positive and uplifting news stories. Are you tired of the same old news? Are you sick of the seemingly endless political spin and negativity? We cover stories that will inspire, uplift, and remind you of the good in the world. Tune into the Golden State Media Concepts, America's Still Beautiful podcast to get all the great and positive news stories of today.
Hey party people, welcome to another episode of America Still Beautiful, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Brooklyn. I'm here for you with the positive stories of the week. It's Friday. You made it. Congratulations. Woo, woo, woo. Oh yeah, it's really good. So glad you're here with us today. Thanks a bunch for tuning in. We have some excellent stories for you today. There includes some bright spots about the pandemic, some amazing airport security features that are getting updated with less traffic going through right now, movie theaters offering free showings, some exciting baby news for celebrities, and an insane amount of pickles. So stay tuned for all of that in this episode. First, let's start by saying Happy International Left-Handers Day. That's right. It's a day for it. You Southpaws, you left-handers, you other siders, we are so excited to celebrate your day. It's International Left-Handers Day, and oh yeah, it is super cool to be left-handed. It wasn't always cool necessarily to be, it was always cool to be left-handed, but maybe people didn't recognize how cool it was to be left-handed always because educators and physicians used to advocate retraining for left-handed children to use their right hands. Some of the methods that they used were not very nice, so they couldn't move their left hands, but we've gotten past that. Left-handers are welcome in the world, and I think inventions and such are slowly catching up. It can be inconvenient to be a lefty sometimes. Some of us who are right-handed might not think about the difficulties faced by a left-handed person, but most things are designed with right-handed people in mind, as they do make up the majority of the population. And so school desks or scissors can be kind of awkward or difficult for left-handed people to handle. But I know that they being who, people that make things and invent things are working to be more inclusive about that. Because it's generally accepted that 7 to 10% of people are naturally left-handed. 760 million people. That's enough for one heck of a party. So happy Left-Handers Day. We're so glad everybody's here. What you can do to celebrate International Left-Handers Day is to spread the word, be social about it. If you are left-handed, please educate us right-handers to know what's difficult in your life, what's more awesome because you are left-handed, and what kind of things have you experienced in your life. Let's see, when did now this is international, not just national. But this started going all the way back in 1976 because August 13th, 1976, Left-Handers International designated this day, a Friday the 13th, as International Left-Handers Day. That's when they started celebrating. And then in 1992, oh yeah, the clubs started forming. The official Left-Handers Club got underway to increase public awareness of the advantages and disadvantages of being left-handed. And in January 2009, according to CNN, the newly inaugurated President Barack Obama signed 3 documents, quipping, "I'm a lefty, get used to it." So he's the latest left-handed president that we have, and that is really cool, how visible that. I don't think I knew that President Obama was left-handed. Very, very cool. So shout out to all you left-handers. It, like I just said, it is kind of rare to have to know a lot of left-handed people because they make up 7 to 10% of the population. I think that's more than I thought it was. While I was living in Japan, I had a roommate that would change about every 6 to 12 weeks. And so I think overall I had, how many roommates while I was there? I think I had about 11 roommates. And I am not kidding. I am not lying. All of them were left-handed. I think that's kind of a crazy coincidence. So, like, the people that I was paired up with, all of them ended up being left-handed. It was so interesting. And in Japanese, one of the ways that you say left-handed is Southpaw. It's just a foreign translation of Southpaw, right? I think that's really, really cute that they also have that colloquial phrase there. All right, into our news articles for today. There are more bright spots coming up about the pandemic. Of course, we're still in a pandemic, but there's always positive things happening when difficult things are happening as well, right? So this journalist for KUOW's name is Anna Boyko Weyrauch, and she interviewed some doctors in a very short but effective interview. It's about 4 minutes long if you want to check it out. And she heard about a few bright spots in the coronavirus pandemic in Washington state. She attended a briefing from state health officials, and she shares what she learns. She says, while the virus is still on the loose, the good news is it looks like Washington state is on the downswing from a big peak of cases in mid-July. If the graph of our cases this summer looked like a big hike up a mountain, it now looks like we're coming way down. On the other side, losing the elevation. That's always great to be on the other side, right? Another bright spot in the data is the number of people hospitalized with symptoms that look like COVID-19. The curve is going down for that too. Fewer and fewer people are going to the ER with what appears to be COVID, and there are fewer people now compared to earlier this summer, and there are way fewer people than compared back in March. Whew, that is really, really good news. It's a little tricky to parse out what exactly is causing the decrease in numbers. Because apparently in Washington state, the number of people getting tested has also gone down at the same time as the cases have gone down. So that's not always indicative properly of what's going on. But the Washington state health officer, Dr. Kathy Lofi, was walking reporters through a bunch of different graphs, and she weighed a couple of possibilities. She said that there could be less of the disease out there, and therefore fewer people getting tested and fewer people testing positive. And there's always a chance that something else is driving down the testing. As a result, we're seeing fewer positives. But she and other health officials are inclined to say the reason there are fewer cases is because there is less disease circulating. Yes, what a win. They point to data mentioned before that show that the declines in data on people going to the ER with COVID-like symptoms is promising. So it looks like the disease still is spreading in Washington state, mostly from young to older people. But like they said, it's really decreasing at this point. So that is really, really good. Another bright spot is that, remember how at the beginning of the pandemic, everyone was really worried. Healthcare workers were having to reuse their N95 masks. There was really a shortage of those, not only because doctors had a lot more work to do, but suddenly people that were not healthcare providers were purchasing those masks quickly, and therefore creating a shortage for the people who really, really needed them. But this week, the state of Washington kicked off a new group to look at the supply chain and figure out how the state is going to stockpile protective gear. They're going to look at a lot of things, but they want to make sure that there's enough personal protective equipment so healthcare workers don't have to reuse masks or clean them going forward. That is something that I think we really just did not expect as a part of this big pandemic. But it's really good to learn from those experiences and be prepared for any future issues that come up. And so they'll be even better prepared next time, right? That is fabulous. All right, we have another really exciting story about the airport of the future. This incredible article by Business Week boasts the headline that the airport of the future will have no check-in or security lines. The pandemic pause in travel may actually fix flying long term. This is what the experts are saying. I'm looking at some very cool futuristic looking kiosks in an airport here. And so let's check out what this article has to say. There's some really, really cool updates in here, so I really want to get right into it. So there's going to be disinfection booths, biometric security scans, automatic customs and border patrol screenings, enhanced self-check-in stations. Together, these all represent the most significant overhaul of the airport experience since September 11th, 2001. Obviously, after that, a lot more strict security measures went into place in all airports. All right, so from Matthew Johnson, who has helped with this, spearheading this ongoing multi-billion-dollar renovation of the Los Angeles airport, said, "The traditional way we design airports has long been hamstrung in two directions. The de facto airport floor plan funnels traffic through an X shape, with the passengers coming from various entries and converging at one congested portal, TSA, travel security, before dispersing to find their gate. This design was largely put into place after the 2001 terror attacks, when extensive security scans became emblems of personal safety." Now, these long lines used to be the price of personal safety, but now, with COVID-19, they're kind of a new cause of violating personal safety. So now experts are looking at some new ways to be able to social distance and create security in a more efficient way. So this downtime for the airports is really giving them the opportunity to up the security and up the ability and efficiency of the airports in a really cool way. So one design improvement is going to be with checking in. So without having to rush to get through a snaking TSA line, passengers will be able to enjoy their time anywhere in the airport, including in pre-security areas. They're free from the human gridlock spaces, and they'll be landscaped with seating, and it's possible to get food dropped off there, which is a huge change from what airports are right now, at least like where I have been in airports. You know, there's just nowhere to sit pre-checking in. So if it's not such a rush to get checked in, then people can arrive a little bit early, have a relaxing time before they get all through security. The airline apps will also get improved to mitigate the need to touch the screens, because obviously touching high-touch surfaces is a problem right now. And so coupled with QR code boarding passes and self-drop luggage stations, the check-in process will be able to be fully digitized. Isn't it incredible that that's even an option that they can think of? I think it's very, very exciting. Next up, going through security is going to be improved because some airports already provide security without requiring any type of human interaction, such as at the Hong Kong International Airport, where passengers just tap their passports to unlock a security barrier, and then they go through the screening process that way. So there's a new technology that's also being fast-tracked for deployment, which is a remotely operated X-ray machine that can check carry-ons for explosives and millimeter wave imaging systems that can examine your shoes for traces of contraband while they're on your feet. Oh, wouldn't that be nice not to have to take your shoes off at the airport? That would excite me greatly. Sometimes I forget to wear socks to the airport, and then it's a big thing, and I feel disgusting, like walking on the floor with my bare feet. Anyway, that would be exciting, right? All right, the next exciting part of it is about navigating the terminal. So in places like Korea, a new type of employee can be spotted throughout the terminals. Robots. Wow. Some of them sterilize common high-touch surfaces like bathrooms, hallways, bag trolleys, and elevator buttons with UV lights. Oh, that's so cool. And others flag the authorities when they detect an unmasked face. How interesting. At the JFK Airport in New York, an artificial intelligence platform called Safe Distance is using cameras to monitor for congestion, so employees can easily identify overcrowded areas and open up the avenues of access in response. A similar software tool called Sensor uses some footage to bring real-time crowd estimates for places such as gateside bathrooms, coffee shops, retail outlets right to the traveler's phone. Oh, that was so cool. So you can see on your phone the trafficking that is going on in different parts of the airport, so you kind of know how far back to stay to ensure your social distancing, and also that you don't have to wait in a long line. You can wait in one of those nice pre-security areas, enjoy some food or a book, and then go on when less people are on. So the final stage is the boarding, and a touchless departure is the last step of the process, right? The Cathay Pacific Limited is working on the collaboration with the U.S. Customs and Border Protection to bring automated boarding gates to the LA airport and San Francisco International Airport. They're joining a similar effort at the JFK airport as well. As you're boarding, they scan your face biometrically to verify identity, also taking your temperature and allowing you to get on the plane without handing over your ticket to somebody, just automatically getting scanned in. I usually am able to use not a ticket and just like scan in with my phone, which is really, really cool already. And so it sounds like these protocols and opportunities are really coming up, and they are I think it's very exciting that airports are improving their technology, and it looks like it's going to be shorter lines, shorter wait times for us, and a little bit more sanitary. That is just very good news, of course, at a time when we're all a little bit more worried about germs. Okay, next up comes some really great local news about baby turtles and amazing movie theater and some great new music to listen to with a cause. Stay tuned.
The GSMC Life and Happiness podcast takes you on a journey of exploration. We'll discuss tried and true methods alongside the latest trends of how to best live your life to its fullest and happiest. From psychology to meditation, science to self-help books, the GSMC Life and Happiness podcast will help you to discover what makes you happy and how you can live life being the best you possible. Download the GSMC Life and Happiness podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type GSMC in the search bar.
Welcome back to America's Still Beautiful, a podcast brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm so glad you're here today. I'm still Brooklyn, and I have such a cute story coming up next. Raise your hand if you love animals. I think that they're great, especially if they're pictures and they're not ones I have to take care of. But, I do love animals. And this story really got to me because I just think the picture is so cute. Thousands of baby turtles get their first taste of the sea in Gianyar Beach, Indonesia. More than 10,000 baby turtles were released into the sea off the Indonesia island of Bali on Friday. It's a part of the conservationists' attempt to boost the population of a vulnerable species and promote environmental protection. Isn't that incredible? Incredible. These conservation groups actually carried crates full of dozens of tiny turtles to the island's beach and encouraged local people and volunteers to line up on the sand and release these little hatchlings together. They're only a few inches long, and the turtles scurried over the black sand and pebbles as the tide just splashed over them. American volunteer Jessie Lieberman said, "It's really exciting to see all of these turtles being released into wild," and she added that she hopes that they survive and thrive. The olive ridley turtles are among the most abundant sea turtles, but are still considered vulnerable because there are only a few places where they will actually nest. They weigh up to 110 pounds as an adult, and they grow to be 28 inches. So these teeny little turtles really are going to get very big. A conservation volunteer at the site said that the turtle eggs were appearing in fewer places on Bali than before, but the programs to help protect them were seeing success. They said that they're able to collect and save the eggs, and hopefully they can hatch more turtles and release even more back into the ocean. In recent years, the sea turtle populations have actually declined due to hunting, loss of beach nesting sites, and overharvesting of the eggs being caught in fishing gear accidentally. However, the Bali authorities released 25 of the larger green turtles into the sea on Wednesday after their rescue last month during a raid on illegal traffickers. Yikes. Agnes Booty Santoso, the head of the Bali Natural Resources and Conservation Center, recommended creating a green zone of designated beaches for turtles to lay eggs safely away from hotels and construction sites. It's a constant balance. It's something to figure out between living as humans on this beautiful earth. We need to make room for all of our great creatures here, right? So it's very encouraging to see something like this, and the little baby turtles scurrying across the beach are very, very cute. So that's some exciting news benefiting the endangered turtles. And going right along from ZME Science is helping endangered birds through music. An international group of electronic musicians and composers is sampling the sounds of endangered birds as a way to save the lyrical creatures and raise awareness about challenges these birds are facing. The artists just barely published a new album, and they combine their own music with the sounds of birds, and they donate all the profits to conservation efforts for the birds. Talk about a cause that you really believe in. That is incredible. So the album is called A Guide to Birdsong, and it was started that's actually the name of the group. Sorry. A Guide to Birdsong was started in 2015 by Robin Perkins, who is a 33-year-old composer, DJ, and producer from England. He wanted to take the songs of endangered birds and challenging musicians to make a piece of music from them. He was trying to marry the worlds of activism and conservation, birdsong, and electronic music. And what a beautiful way to do it, taking your talents to benefit something you believe in. I think this is awesome. Perkins worked with a group of artists from each of the endangered or threatened birds' homelands to build their own songs around the birds' songs. The electronic music style allows artists to do that in a really special way because they can integrate more foreign sounds than music into the music with more cadence. This first album was focused on South America and raised more than $15,000 for 2 bird conservation charities. Perkins said in a statement that the beautiful thing about electronic music is that it opens up this whole toolbox of things that you couldn't otherwise do. So you can make a sample of a bird song and do 5 million things to it. You can turn it into an instrument itself. You can reverse it. You can add effects. You can sample it. I love that. Super creative and really using what he has to benefit what he believes in. So following the initial success, Perkins just published a second album featuring birds from Mexico, Central America, and the Caribbean. He invited musicians from around the entire region and asked for tracks to include a bird song from a bird in the range of near threatened to critically endangered. So all birds that are, facing issues with worry about survival. And what a great way to bring awareness. This 10-track album includes some sounds of wide array of creatures, including the black catbird, bearded screech owl, and thick-billed parrot. The tracks were done by diverse artists like Garifuna Collective from Belize, Delafe from Guatemala, and Tamara Montenegro from Nicaragua, and many more. This sounds like such cool music. I'm definitely going to give it a listen. Leah Sorensen, who is the head of Birds Caribbean, one of the organizations set to benefit from the sales of the album, said in a statement, "We're envisioning that funding from this project will help us advance on building the supply and demand for sustainable bird and nature tourism." Some great news for the birds right there. I think that's really wonderful. So if you are looking for some new type of music to listen to, why not give this album a try? The profits benefit the birds, and you'll get some great new dance jams. I'm definitely going to give it a listen here after the podcast. All right. Do you miss going to the movies? I know I do. The movie theater by my house actually just recently last year. Of course, whatever relativity recently is, but last year they installed all recliner seats in each of the theaters. Oh, wow. It is a whole different experience. It is amazing. And, movie seats are relatively comfortable to begin with, but these recliner seats are serious. They are huge. You can just automatically recline them with a button. Giant cup holders. It's really the life. It's a little embarrassing, but like my dad actually brings the blanket, and I think he just sleeps through some movies because he loves being in the movie theater. He loves the snacks, but needs some to catch up on some sleep, I guess. And so he just falls asleep in those big comfy chairs. But the point is, we miss the movies, and we love the experience of seeing a movie in the theater. And so this is a great article from Greenfield, Indiana, where this town felt safe enough to reopen their movie theater, and they're having free screenings. Since they've been closed for 5 months, Legacy Cinema in Greenfield is getting ready to light up the screens again with a series of popular older films for their moviegoers to enjoy for free. It's serving as a preparation for all sorts of the theater and moviegoers to adapt to the changes sparked by the COVID-19 pandemic as studios get ready to start releasing films again. Sorry. Legacy Cinema is screening these movies that you might recognize from the past. The Terminator, Back to the Future, Thelma and Louise, Jurassic Park. And they're doing it through Sunday, August 16th. So if you're in the area, go enjoy a free movie. They were able to open at 50% capacity, so it sounds like they are observing social distancing, which is great and a great way to get back into art that you love. Carrie Benbow is the general manager at Legacy Cinema, and they said, "We wanted to open up and get people used to what it will be like as far as observing physical distancing and things that will be different at the theater since they last time were in." He continued, "What better way to do that than start with some free screenings?" So the goal is to see about 30% capacity for each screening and never more than 50%. So that is I think that sounds like a really good guideline, and they're open to sell all carryout concessions on Friday and Saturday evenings. So they can still do the carry-out concessions, but that's what they've been doing for the past few months, is carry-out concessions if you're really missing that movie theater popcorn. Hey, my sister, I'm thinking about you. She adores movie theater popcorn. That is so much fun. I hope she's been able to go get it as some takeout lately. All right, we have a break coming up, but I have one more bonus story for you before we go to the break. It's a really sweet story about the city of Baltimore, Maryland. We know that recently they were unfortunately hit with an accidental explosion. However, as that explosion was happening, there are heroes who went running in to help. These things just happen within seconds, right? And it's so scary. Time after time, we're introduced to heroes, however, who are there, men and women who are awakened by the blast and ran in to help. They hit the ground running, and there was even a man who ran in to help without his shoes. These are ordinary neighbors doing extraordinary things to save lives. Of course, don't forget the first responders in Baltimore who geared up in heavy-duty equipment in high heat and humidity, working near exhaustion for hours to help people that were affected by this explosion, especially those who were in immediate danger. This all comes as each one of us deals with the wide-ranging effect of a global pandemic, so who really needs any of these more tragic events happening? No one. But of course, there's always good news around these events, as we have seen. This sweet article honors the lives of 2 people who were lost in the tragedy, along with the lives and efforts of those everyday heroes in our life. So it seems that Baltimore has made just about every negative headline imaginable recently, but they're able to flip it and not lose sight of the positive, which is the people. This article says that the true spirit of Baltimore was on display this week. Let's work to continue having the world see us helping each other. I love that, and I love that as a community, they really want to be seen as a community that helps each other, that loves each other, and is able to band together in difficult times. Oh, such a wonderful story. So don't forget that there is really lots of positivity happening, even with the negative stories that abound, and just let it inspire you to help out where you can. All right, time for a break, especially for my snack. Stay tuned, though, because next up we have some very exciting celebrity baby news, including baby news from one of your favorite childhood grandfathers. We'll talk to you right after this.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Hello and welcome back to the show. Thanks for sticking with us through the break. This is America's Still Beautiful podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. Right back into some more stories, but first, don't you want to know what snack I had? It was a piece of bread. Not just any bread. It was some French bread, quarantine homemade. Just kidding. I did not make the bread. I've been trying to make bread once in a while here and there, but this is just a loaf of French bread I got from Sam's Club for like 89 cents, I think. It was very inexpensive and it's very delicious. So I've been like sneaking little pieces of that off throughout the week. Something really cute I just remembered is that, you know, the two ends of any bread, you know, that like either there's one person in your house who like loves those and will only eat those, but like the ends of the bread usually just kind of end up squished together at the bottom of the bag after the bread gets eaten because no one's wanting to eat those. They just want like a whole full-on fresh piece of bread. Well, in Japan, those are called pan no mimi. So it means pan, bread, no, belonging to, and then mimi is ears, bread ears. I just think that's really cute. All right, well, speaking of cute stuff, we have some exciting celebrity pregnancy announcements that have all come out recently. So let's dive into it. The one I'm most excited about is that Bindi Irwin has shared a touching tribute to her baby's grandparents in an Instagram post to celebrate family. Now, Bindi Irwin is the daughter of Steve Irwin, that amazing wildlife warrior who braved just the most incredible things on his TV show, giving me lots of exciting TV to watch as a kid. And unfortunately, he passed away after an accident many years ago. But now his daughter, Bindi, is 22 years old, and she shared a special post for her new arrivals' grandparents on Instagram on Thursday. She posted this kind of as a pregnancy announcement and a tribute to her parents. She gushed over her famous mother, Terry, and Chandler's parents' grandparent appreciation post she began, and she added heart emojis, of course. She said, "To my beautiful mom and Chandler's parents, our little one is going to be so loved." In this picture, she's very cute. She is she and her husband are both wearing shirts that like Steve Irwin would wear, and they're holding a baby-sized shirt as well, collar with the tan coloring. It's very, very cute. In some subsequent pictures, the grandparents are all together and they're so cute. And so Bindi and Chandler is Bindi's husband, and they announced that they're expecting their first child this week. And shortly after sharing the exciting news, she delivered this heartfelt message to her mom, and then another picture is with them, with her mom, the widow of Steve Irwin. It's so exciting that they're having a baby, and so the Irwin matriarch, who is now 56, uploaded a photo of the expectant couple holding up their tiny version of the Australia Zoo uniform, and told her followers that the news was bittersweet following her husband Steve's death almost 14 years ago. I can't believe it's been that long, but that is incredible. So very, very happy for them, and babies are always a bright spot in the world, right? Even if we're experiencing difficulties in life, we're still excited for new life to come into the world because children bring parents and those who surround them a lot of joy. So that's just a testament, I think, to how great this life really can be and how happy we are to be here because we're always excited to bring new people in, right? Continuing in the baby news sector, Whitney Carson also announced that she is expecting with her husband. She is joining many other celebrities this year who have announced that they're pregnant. Whitney Carson is a professional ballroom dancer who has been a featured choreographer and contestant on Dancing with the Stars. She is such a cutie, and her best friend, Lindsay Arnold, and her have kind of like danced through their careers together, and they both married their high school sweethearts a couple years ago, and now both of them are pregnant. So Lindsay announced her pregnancy a little bit earlier in the year, and now Whitney is pregnant too. It's a very cute picture of her hugging her husband, and the post says, "Baby McAllister coming January 2021. We can't even contain our excitement and joy right now. We found out together on the pregnancy test, which was so surreal and special." So very, very cute for them. That's so exciting. She's, again, a dancer on professional dancer, Dancing with the Stars. She also joins Nicki Minaj, Gigi Hadid, and many others who have confirmed their pregnancies for this year. In the past few months, these celebrities have taken to social media to announce their pregnancies, as many do. Nicki Minaj announced after months of speculation from her fans that she is pregnant in a very colorful outfit. And so she is expecting... it actually doesn't say. She actually has not revealed when she is due, but that's exciting. Christina Perri, who you might know from singing your favorite song from the Twilight movies, 1,000 Years, is expecting her second daughter with husband Paul Costabile. And their daughter Carmela is going to be a big sister. And so exciting, she indicates that it's a rainbow baby for them, which is very sweet. A rainbow baby is kind of a little colloquial term for when the baby comes in the pregnancy after the mom has suffered a miscarriage. So happy that they are able to be expecting a child now, and we are very happy for them. Their baby is due in January 2021. Sasha Peteris and Hudson Schaefer are also expecting. She revealed that she's expecting her first child with her husband Hudson, and she recently revealed that getting pregnant was a blessing as she had a condition called polycystic ovary syndrome. So that is a miracle amongst that. So that is just so happy, and she says that she's very grateful and wants to kind of raise awareness to those difficulties, and I think that's a great thing to do as well. Remy Ma and Papoose announced that they were expecting their second child together on July 6th. They're already parents to a baby girl named Reminisce Mackenzie, and they welcomed her in 2018, so she will become a big sister. Emma Roberts and her husband Garrett Hedlund are also expecting. On June 25th, they broke the news that this actress, Emma Roberts, and she is pregnant with her first child. So exciting news. Are you all about One Direction? Because Zayn Malik is also expecting with model Gigi Hadid. A lot of people were suspecting her pregnancy on social media as well, and she revealed it on The Tonight Show earlier this year. Leah Michele, the main actress on Glee, is also expecting her first child with her husband, Zandy Reich, which is exciting. And also, Katherine Schwarzenegger and Chris Pratt are expecting. Very exciting. Chris Pratt is that hilarious actor who plays my favorite role on Parks and Recreation, that show. He plays Andy, and he was also in Passengers and Guardians of the Galaxy, perhaps most notably. He is now married to Katherine Schwarzenegger, and they are expecting their first baby together. Very exciting. So some baby news always cheers me up a little bit, and I have, of course, one more kind of fun one. The legendary talk show host, Dr. Phil. took to Instagram to announce that he's getting one more baby granddaughter. So he's a proud grandpa, and he gushed about his son Jordan and his girl Morgan Stewart and their pregnancy news. Dr. Phil says, "We are so proud of you and Morgan." He captioned the photo and said, "Another grandbaby, yay, hashtag granddaughter." In the social media post uploaded, the Oklahoma native and his wife, Robin McGraw, grinned with the parents-to-be while surrounded by pink balloons. Looks like a very cute little gender reveal party. His wife tweeted, "It's official, we're having another grandberry. It's a precious girl. We love Jordan and Morgan." And then they later released it to the media. They are very excited about their baby coming, of course, and how nice to have a totally supportive family around them to welcome this baby. So some very exciting news if you like babies there. Now, babies are great and everything, but up next we have some very important and very exciting and very good news about chicken sandwiches. Do you remember that chicken sandwich war that was going on earlier in the year? Oh yeah, it's not over. Stay tuned and we'll talk all about it after the break.
Want to find out what movies to go see? Then check out the GSMC Movie Podcast. It's your ticket to the latest movies, whether it's a new blockbuster event, romantic, comedy, or action flick. This show has got it all covered. They talk some what to go see now. Don't bother. What's hot on Netflix and everything in between. That's gsmcpodcast.com/movie-podcast. When it's all about the movies, it has to be this new show. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit gsmcpodcast.com for more info.
America's Still Beautiful, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. Welcome back! This is our final segment. And look, I'm going to be honest. This is going to be my favorite one today because I connect with this next story on a physical and emotional level. Okay? This next segment is about Chick-fil-A. Do you like Chick-fil-A? It's that amazing restaurant where the employees are way too polite and they have really delicious food going on there. Here where I live, there's plenty around, so I probably get around to it about once a week, and their sauce is kind of what makes it for me. It's really delicious and it works really well on other people's chicken sandwiches as well. Now, one thing I don't like about the sandwich at all is pickles. No thank you. Do not invite me to that party. I do not like pickles at all. But I just order it without pickles. They most often, almost always remember to take them off or don't put them on, and it tastes perfect for me. However, there's some people that are obsessed with pickles, like family members of mine. And first of all, why? But I can accept a difference in taste, and so as long as everyone gives me all the black licorice they don't want, y'all can have the pickles. I will say I had a lot of pickled items in Japan, and it's like a little bit more common there for some reason to have other vegetables pickled and then like often served than it is here in the United States. So that was a little bit better, but still I just don't prefer the vinegary cured type veggie situation as an enjoyable eating experience. But anyway, on one of your favorite websites, it's called It's a Southern Thing. It's such a cute site. And this is a story about a woman who asked for, quote, an insane amount of pickles on her sandwich at Chick-fil-A and got exactly that. This photo is breathtaking. I'm going to have to put it on our Instagram. It's an insane amount of pickles, people, okay? Lauren Shepard Abercrombie requested, quote, an insane amount of extra pickles on her chicken sandwich at Chick-fil-A when she was ordering on the app. The app is pretty smooth. You just put in what you want. You can also make special requests such as extra Chick-fil-A sauce, extra pickles, different kind of bun. Oh yeah, she asked for extra pickles, and she expected, with this request saying an insane amount of pickles, maybe she'd get about 8. She got, however, when she picked it up, a sandwich topped with more than 40 pickles. And the internet is green with envy, because apparently people like pickles. But Abercrombie of South Carolina said this was her first time leaving a special request comment in a mobile order, so she was picking it up for her family, and she always asks for the extra pickles. But this time she really decided to go for the gold. Or the green, I guess I should say. For reference, Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich typically has 2 dill pickle chips on them, just 2 of those little slices. If you ask for extra, you'll probably get 4 or 5 if the cook is feeling really generous that day. Now, with this in mind, Abercrombie was imagining to find like 8, because she said an insane amount of pickles would maybe be like double the typical extra amount. So it was a very good surprise, in her opinion, to find, and she counted, 43 pickles on her sandwich. Gross. Ruins the sandwich for me, but I'm so happy for her because she got exactly what she wanted in abundance. She said, the bag that the sandwich came in was wet from the pickle juice, so I just knew it was going to be an insane amount before I even opened the sandwich bag. It made me smile and laugh. I pictured a Chick-fil-A employee seeing my order and saying, I got you, and grabbing a handful of pickles. Lauren shared this photo of her request as well as her sandwich on Facebook, and since then it had garnered more than 12,000 shares from deeply jealous pickle lovers across the internet. So, of course, you could make the argument that once you pass like 20 pickles on a sandwich, you're no longer eating a chicken sandwich with pickles on it. You are eating a pickle sandwich with a little bit of chicken on it. It's kind of like when Leslie Knope, back to Parks and Rec, hope you've seen it. Leslie Knope uses whipped cream. They're like, oh, would you like some waffles with your whipped cream? She uses a lot of whipped cream. But hey, if you want to order a pickle sandwich and get chicken on it at Chick-fil-A, you know that they would serve it to you and say, my pleasure, while doing it. So you can check out her photos on Instagram. The little receipt literally says, Chick-fil-A sandwich with insane amount of pickles, please. Extra pickles. And then the pic of her sandwich, it's got a bun, the chicken fillet, and then the 40 pickles, and then a bun on the bottom. I don't know. This story tickled me. I love me some fast food. It's a guilty pleasure of mine, and I just love that they honored her request with a truly insane amount of pickles. Now, speaking of the chicken sandwich, do you remember when Popeyes was like, hey, we're coming out with a chicken sandwich for the first time. We're way better than any of these goofs. Come get our chicken sandwich. And they hyped it up on Twitter, and they roasted people, and they were crazy about it, marketing for months. And then, on the first week, in less than 7 days, they sold out of those sandwiches. Do you remember that? It was hilarious. I thought it was so funny. I thought, like, we weren't even in a pandemic. I mean, apparently people needed something to do, because everybody was out getting that sandwich. Now, you may think that the sandwich wars are over now that argument from last year has kind of calmed down a little bit. But the chicken sandwich wars are not over, people. Wendy's has a new option, and McDonald's is about to get in on it too. I love Wendy's. They have the famous 4 for $4, and honestly, one of my favorite French fries. They use the sea salt. They have a really good thickness. They're usually a nice little crispiness. I mean, it's Wendy's, so like it's a hit and miss where you go, but generally, I'm a really big fan of Wendy's. The 4 for $4 is a great deal. Now, it's been a year since Popeyes fired the first shot in this great chicken sandwich war by introducing the spicy chicken sandwich, which transcended from Instagram fad to cultural phenomenon as quickly as you could say, combo please. But of course, those were far simpler times, and we could stand in lines and eat inside restaurants and enjoy our sandwiches inches from fellow humans for taste of the elusive chicken sandwich. And, that's when our social media feeds were populated with dueling jibes from fast food mascots instead of this dire coronavirus news. But still, despite all that has changed in the past year, the battle for poultry supremacy shows no signs of abating. This is an incredible article from the Washington Post, and they claim that fast food companies are continuing to refine and expand their offerings, which, we're wolfing down. There's no indication that America's collective obsession with crunchy bit of bread on a bun is going anywhere. Now, David Portlanton, a fast food industry analyst and the market research firm NPD Group. This sounds like a very official title, and I feel like he has a good job. I feel like he eats a lot of food that comes out of windows. He says, it captured our imagination, and we're still hooked on them. The chicken sandwich has not relinquished its position at the top of our wish lists. I mean, for those of us who are not vegetarians, it's a pretty good option. I mean, fried chicken on bread with sauce of choice, potentially vegetables if you have to. I mean, what's there not to like? David notes that even as the restaurant industry has created a kind of a crater during the pandemic, sales are down 24%, but the fried chicken sandwiches are actually up 1.2%. That's right, it's right up there in the pandemic comfort food category. To feed our seemingly bottomless appetite this week, Wendy's introduced another spicy chicken sandwich to its lineup, a budget-minded patty for its 4 for $4 menu. Ooh, this is exciting. Like I said, the 4 for $4 is the best. You get a sandwich of choice, a side of fries, some 4 chicken nuggets with whatever sauces you want, and a drink. It's a great little meal for $4. So it looks like the fast food industry Goliath, McDonald's, will soon finally be jumping into this deep fryer party. Since late last year, the Golden Arches has been teasing the debut of its premium sandwich, something franchises have long been clamoring for to better compete with the drive-thrus next door. The company's new CEO recently told Time magazine that he's feeling good about where we're at with the innovation in chicken. I mean, this is all very important stuff, people. Yeah. More evidence that we are only seeing the tip of the iceberg is KFC. KFC. Have you heard of it? No, you haven't, because I'm trying to say KFC. They are also testing another entry in the market. Apparently, they are also trying out a chicken sandwich with a bigger fillet with thicker cut pickles and a fancier bun than its original. Although the vast majority of these sandwiches are being served up by fast food chains, artisanal offerings are also there at higher end restaurants. What do you think? Do you like a fancy sandwich at a high-end restaurant with some miso jam, or do you just like it from Wendy's? Really simple, or the dry one from McDonald's? What do you like? Let us know on our Instagram or our Twitter which chicken sandwich is your favorite. Give us your controversial opinions. I am honestly not too picky. I like almost any good chicken sandwich, but I always want Chick-fil-A sauce on it. So it doesn't have to be the Chick-fil-A sandwich. That one's really good. They fry the chicken in peanut oil. That kind of gives it a sweetness to the savory. It's really nice. But the Popeyes one is delicious. It's nice and thick. And, Wendy's does a bang-up job, especially the crispy chicken BLT. And I know way too much about fast food sandwiches. So let's move on, shall we? Yeah. So please, let us know on Instagram. We are at GSMC_America, or on Twitter, which is at GSMC_ASB. America's Still Beautiful. Got that? Okay. So let us know which chicken sandwich is your favorite. Or if you hate chicken sandwiches, tell us that too. All right. To finish out here today, of course, I want to give you a happy little quotation to send you off with. This is from Marcus Proust, a prolific good word sayer. He says something I totally agree with. Let us be grateful to people who make us happy. They are the charming gardeners who make our souls blossom. I really love that imagery of a garden blossoming as our soul is a garden, and there's beautiful flowers in it blossoming from different times or trials in our lives. I think it's a really pretty and happy image to have. And I was discussing with some people, of course, distantly this evening about gratitude and what a happy, good opportunity being grateful is. sometimes it feels like it might be hard to be grateful for what's around you because there's so much more that we might want. Our goals are not accomplished yet, or we wish we had more money, more opportunities, or things were more fair, or we were healthier. However, when we are grateful, it automatically brings some happiness into our system. We are grateful that we're alive. We can be grateful for the people that love us. We can be grateful for people to love. We can be grateful for chicken sandwiches. We can be grateful even for the hard things that are in our lives, because these experiences give us the strength to experience more things going on in life, and they give us empathy that strengthen our relationships, and so much more. So our little challenge today is to write down something that you are grateful for, because there's your local news. The good news in your life is whatever you are grateful for, right? Making the constant habit of being grateful is obviously and has been continually proven to be healthy and happy for especially your mental health, to recognize the blessings around you. So write down something you're grateful for, and especially if it's triggered by somebody, if it's someone that you're grateful for, absolutely let them know. People love to be thanked, and don't you feel good when someone thanks you for something that you did for them? Absolutely. And as we express gratitude to one another, I think we'll move to a more gracious and positive place as well. All right. Thank you again so much for listening to the Golden State Media Concepts America Still Beautiful podcast. It's brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm Brooklyn. Again, you can subscribe to the show. That shows us that you like it, and you won't miss out on new episodes. And of course, the show is always free. Follow us on social media. You can find GSMC America Still Beautiful on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Thanks a lot. Be kind to others, because you are worth it.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts America Still Beautiful podcast, part of the GSMC Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type in GSMC to find all of our shows. From the GSMC Podcast Network, from social media news to marketing news, and even weird news, the GSMC Podcast Network has you covered. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's episode of the Golden State Media Concepts America Still Beautiful podcast.